Hi everyone, my name is Ivan. I do lots of stuff and we'll see what. And I would like to talk to you about how to build a game in a couple of minutes, well, more than a couple, and what can be learned and how can this knowledge be extrapolated to other places. And I'm from Chisinau, from the sunny country next door. Where we drink a lot of wine and not pivo rock. I write code for a company called Logant, which we founded with Doina here, co-founded. And I also teach code at Rails Girls. It's really cool. Doina will tell you about this a bit more. And sometimes I feed the cat from the office. So yeah. I also like to have fun every once in a while. And having fun is sometimes related to experimenting, trying new things, and sometimes building games. Last year, I tried to build a game to participate in the Ludum Dare challenge. It's like you've probably participated in the Rails Rumble, right? Well, imagine the same thing for games. Really cool. We failed miserably. Needless to say. So I like having fun, I like building small games, but I have trouble doing this. I have trouble doing this because I need to do several things when building a game. I need to formulate the concept, right? The idea that makes the game my game. I need to invent or learn the tools that will help me get to this concept. And I'll need to formulate a process that will help me build the game having this concept with the tools I have. And this is pretty difficult. All of these are pretty difficult. Because I need to, for each of these, I need to find a way to minimize it and to select the most important thing about it. For instance, with the concept. I want to build a game. Let's start with this. I want to build a game. What's a game, right? It's something where there's a dragon, and there's probably a knight, and there's a castle, and you should be able to throw fireballs at the dragon, and the castle should explode. It's not something we can do in 2 days. It's not something we can do ever. So I need to minimize the concept and to select only what's important from it. Another thing, and for this presentation, I would like to build a game with you guys. And I would like to build a game of hide and seek. I'd like to build a game where players try to find other players who act like not other players. NPCs are non-playable characters. So it is extremely important that this sentence does not include anything related to the concept of the presentation of the game. It doesn't include the knight, it doesn't include the castle, it doesn't include that this is a spy or something else, okay? So the first step, I need to distill the concept to something that is core to the gaming experience. The second thing is the tools. When I Google something like how to make a game, I find a whole lot of tools, like from Unity to GameMaker to writing raw OpenGL code. And this is a bit more difficult for me because I need to study them in order to build a game. Now, I don't want to study tools. I want to build a game. And these are different things. But I know Ruby, a bit of it. So I might find something to build a game with Ruby. It probably isn't the best game ever. But my focus is not to build the best game ever. My focus now is to build the game that establishes that concept I wrote before. So I will use the tools I have, the tools I already know, without learning other tools. And I'll build a game using Ruby. Ruby has a wonderful library called Gosu. We'll use it. It's extremely simple. But it's more than enough for us to have fun. And number three, most importantly, I need to find a way to make it rewarding for myself. In a lot of ways, you all have started projects. We all have started projects, never finishing them. One of the issues with those projects is that we've been trying to do too many things at once. I said, okay, so let me start this new startup I want, and I'll use Elixir and Phoenix, and I also use this new fancy database, RethinkDB, and I want people to have like, oh no, I want Ember on the front end, right? Knowing none of these things. You've had this before. We're engineers at heart. What I want with this game is to shift the focus and try something different. Try to identify what the reward is in this game for me. Why am I building this game? And try to find steps or actions that with minimal effort maximize the reward. Okay, this emoji stays. This is actually very important, and it can be applied in other places. It starts with me having an honest discussion with myself and saying, hey, why do I want to build this game? Do I want to have fun, as I said before? Do I want to dance? Do I want to show my friends that, hey, guys, I have this cool idea? And this will help me identify the key points and key directions in which I could move to have the maximal reward. And when I identified these key directions in which I could move, I could start building towards them and use the reward that I got, like, yes, I did this, to fuel and to motivate myself to do more. Does that make any sense at all? A bit. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. No. Подожди. Yeah. We can actually do this. I don't see why not. So yeah, I have these two files. I have a background, and I have a dude. That's it. That's all I have. This I've stolen from the internet somewhere. It's from a game called Sword and Sorcery something. It's a pretty cool game, but I just wrote dude, sword and sorcery, and this was it. I stole a background from Subtle Patterns. I think you all use Subtle Patterns, or might have used one day. I don't know what that is, just first background. So let's create a game. I just click new file. I'm using Sublime Text because, I call it game.rb, and I build it using Sublime Text, and it doesn't say anything. I say puts what, and it has a dog. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Let me require Gosu, and let me do something that is just a bit of setup for the game. I say class game is or class whatever, Pivorak is a Gosu window, and it has an initialize, and it just calls super with the resolution of the window. And I say Pivorak new show. It showed me a window. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool because questions, please. As you see, we've minimized the reward. As you see, we've identified a way to make this work. It's not a game that I don't think about the distribution yet. It will suck when I'll try to package it. But I'm not thinking about the packaging yet. I'm thinking about what's important for me, and for me, it's important to have things moving across the screen and to implement that concept that I've talked about before. So writing it in Elixir doesn't really help me. So okay, let's do something cooler. Let's also have let's have a 4-minute or 2-minute talk about Gosu. Gosu operates on images and textures. That's it. And you can put images on coordinates. That's more than enough to build a game. Gosu has 3 main methods. This is initialize, a Gosu window. This is initialize, that sets everything up. There's a method called update that actually you use to react to input, or it's called before every frame gets rendered. And there's a method called draw, or render, I think. I think draw. That is like drawing stuff on the screen. Okay? And by implementing a def update, we don't have nothing. By implementing def draw, we have like, I'm using instance variable, gosu image new background PNG, and it's a at pg.draw. Where do I draw it? I say, wait, where do I draw it? I draw it in 0 and 0. And I also have to say z index. This is the background, so I draw it in whatever z index. I run it. I have a background. Does this code make any sense? I load an image, background.png, and I draw it in 0, 0, and 1 on the z-axis. OK? So nothing very complicated. This is a step towards me having fun. Now I'd like to load the dude. I'd say a dude is gosu image new that says dude.png. And I'd say dude.draw in whatever, 10, 10, and 10. So it would be in front of the background. And rendering this, I have a dude. Cool. Now, this is the first step of me trying to experiment. I can work, from now on, I can work with these instance variables, or I could extract this dude into a separate class and try to pretend that I know a bit of object-oriented programming. So I say class dude, and it has an initialize method. And it probably does the same thing. Let's call it, like, I don't know, image. And draw, let's say, image draw, 10, 10, 10. OK, so I create, in here, I have to create not a new image, but a dude is a new dude. Ой, whoa. Да, занесло. Dude.draw. And now it still works. It still doesn't explode. Let's have some more fun. Let's have an x and y coordinates. And let's also have this like width and this to be height. And I'd say width and height is 800 and 600. And just draw it somewhere randomly in width and somewhere randomly in height. Do I have to purchase this? OK, an expected keyword end. OK, is like, let's do this. And rand of width and rand of height. Does this code make any sense to you guys? OK, it does. Yep. And when I run it again, it has random coordinates. That's cool. Now I'd like to interact with the dude. And I'd like the dude to abide. Because, yeah, the dude abides. No? So I would like to ask the dude to move. And it can move in several directions, left, down, right, up. Yeah. And I'll use the keyboard arrows for this. So I will create a method called, let's say, move, fmove. And, or let's like react to keys or listen for input. Yeah. And I created this method, listen for input. I say, hey, Gosu, is right pressed? If right key is pressed, right arrow key is pressed, then please move the sprite 3 pixels to the right. OK? So I will change this variable to 3 pixels more. And I say something like, if gosu dot is not is pressed. Just a second. Sorry. Button down. But if gosu kb right. Oh, I have completion from the other file. Cool. Then, yes, I'm one of those people who writes an if and then. If goes to then, let's just say x plus equals whatever, 2. And we need to call this listen for input, yeah. And I say, dude, listen for input, yeah. And I press right, and it moves. It doesn't move anywhere else, только налево, but that's okay. Then I say, okay, if then this, so I can say something like this, else if the button down, another button is down, then I do something else, right? KB left. KB, whatever we have, up, I think. And I think we also have down. And in case of left, we move the x coordinate by 2 pixels. In case of up, we move the y coordinate by 2 pixels. In case of down, we also move the y coordinate by 2 pixels. Okay, let me try this. Лишний end. Okay, okay. Wait. No. This is for the... Really? Okay. I'm not entirely sure about this. I think that we need an end here. Do we? Nope. Let's try this. I think we do. It's not JavaScript. Gladly, it's not JavaScript. So I can move the dude around, and I can interact with it. Now it already makes it some sort of a game, some sort of an interactive experience, right? Right? Yeah, cool. I can also do something like I can extract all of these into speed and define sort of a speed is 2, and it still works. I can also do something like, okay, can I extrapolate these 4 into an array? So like buttons of whatever, 1, 2, and 3. And initialize this array somewhere. You'll see why I do this in a second, because I want to add another player. Yeah, that's basically the thing. So I do this, and I say something like buttons is this. Okay. Oops. Add buttons. And in here we have add buttons. Okay, so I can still interact with this. Now, the beautiful thing is that I can now create another dude. And I can make these two talk. Buttons. So, buttons. And when I initialize this one, the first dude, I say, hey, you get initialized with these buttons. And now I create another dude, dude2 or dudette, and it will have, okay, help me out with this one. Right is D. This is difficult. Right is D. Okay, left is A, up is W, and down is S. Okay, they're all over my keyboard now. And I say, dudette, you also listen for input, yeah. And I say, dudette, draw. Unfortunately, we have no 2 slides for dude and dudette, but hey, what's up? But this is fun. I can make a dance. It's already it's a multiplayer interactive experience, right? I'd like to play with this a little more because now I already have something to touch. I have already something to play with. I already distinguish my game from all the Assassin's Creeds ever, right? So I think I can invest a bit more time into something a bit less rewarding for now, but that might come off as rewarding a bit later. And we'll see what that is. First, I'd like to do some cosmetic changes. I think that as much as I like moonwalks, I don't like people moving this way. So I'd like to, when the dude is changing directions, I want them to move to face in a different direction. Does that make sense? Okay. So I say, okay, whenever let's say something like facing is, I don't know, left, because this is what the default image is. He's facing left, right? So when they move left, so when they move right or left, if they were facing not left, we need to make them facing left. So this one, x plus equals speed. This means that the dude is moving to the right, right? Right, right. This means that we say something like, if facing is left, then facing is right. And I do something similar here, but with right and left. Then, when I draw it, I don't draw it just this way. I draw it with something called draw rotation that also accepts an angle, an anchor point, I say it like with the middle, and a flipping scale by x and by y. I will send it to it only by y, and if I send 1 here, we see the same image, like this. This is 1. This is scale 1 for the x-axis. And if I send -1, we see this. It's flipped, right? So what I have to do is I have this facing variable now, and I have to do something like, I don't know, scale x, x is facing is left, then 1, otherwise -1. And I say scale x. I run this, and I get this. This is already much groovier, right? Okay, something else. I would also like, I'd like another dude. I'd like these 2 people to hunt the 3rd dude. So I do something like drunk dude is a dude new, but they do not have keyboard controls. I want them to move randomly, so I set this argument to a default argument. So I say dude.new, and they don't have to listen for input, but I say at drunk dude is dot draw, just to see them. I see 3 dudes on the screen. 2 of them I can control. Hey, what's up? But the 3rd one just stays there. I want to make them drunk. This means that I can move them in a random direction, right? Let's do this. Let me say just, dude, draw, but I'd also like, in the update, I'd like you to move or 2 pixels left or to the right or something. Our input is for the buttons. So let's extract this first. Let me do something like define move that accepts a direction. And, oh, sorry. And case. Yes, this is one of those cases where you might need a case statement. One of the 3 cases in the entire Ruby language. When it's left, then just do this. Yeah? When it's right, then just do this. When it's up, then just do this. And when it's down, then just do this. And from here, we do something like move left, move right. Oh, sorry. Second. Move up and move down. Is that clear? We extracted that thing from buttons to a general method, and now we can say something like dude at drunk dude dot move, but in a random direction. So we say something like left, up, right, down dot sample. Sample selects a random of these. Well, it's not a very drunken dude, it's a dude at a trance party. But we can also make a trance party. I'd like to make something different, because usually if the dude is drunk, they move in the direction, and they don't move chaotically, they move pretty well, but they change directions chaotically. Does that make sense? So I should not play on randomness on moving. The guy should move, no worries. But they should change directions every once in a while, okay? So I would do something like, I just take this and create a method, change direction, because, well, no, just change direction. And I'll put this here. And I say direction is whatever, one of these. Yeah? And I'd say add dude, I say move in the direction. And in here I say drunk dude dot change direction. This should actually, I will also initialize this, sorry. I will also initialize this direction is left, just left. This is actually the same thing. They're still parting this way. But I would like them to change directions not at every frame, not at every update call, but something every, I don't know, once in a blue moon. Unfortunately, Ruby doesn't have once in a blue moon, but we can say change direction if random out of 20 is whatever, 6, 7. 7 is a better number. It's, yeah. So the guy moves. And the guy moves in a drunken way. That's pretty cool, right? I'd like to do something just a bit more about this. When I move the person, if they move to the end of the screen so that I wouldn't lose them, I want them to come out as in snake from the other side, okay? I don't want them to eat apples first, but just this way. I say something like, if this x that is that we added speed to, if this x is greater than width, then I just set it to 0. I don't know, whatever. Yeah? And I will refactor this with a technique called preponed if. I don't know, I just invented this now. Is 0 if at x is greater than width. Okay? And I say here width if it's smaller than 0. Okay? And I say here with y the same thing. If a y is, height greater than 0, smaller than 0. Just a second, you guys lost me. I lost you. I'm not sure. This is good, okay. Thanks. And height. Okay, so I have someone moving from one side of the screen to the other. Bulk, bulk, bulk. By the way, yeah, this could be a Portals game as well. Right? And the guy also abides to these rules. This dude, he's also moving on the screen. Okay? This way. Now, I'd like to have a final touch before I move on to something else, because it's 24 minutes. I'd like to do something really cool now and play this game. Okay, we can start this game with scores, we can think about winning conditions and about losing conditions. And we can do those things later, after we've tested and we've validated the initial gameplay thing. And in here, I just do drunk dudes is a array of 20 drunk dudes. And drunk dudes map change direction. Drunk dudes map draw. And yeah, we have a party. Now the game is on. I am one of these. Oh, okay. You know who. You probably can guess who. Player 2 is one of these. We can now design a game that would help me identify player 1, have me identify player 1, and have player 2 identify me. Yeah. So I have to move like all the other people, and player 2 has to move like all the other people. And when I found that, hey, he's partying like this way, I say, hey, he's player 2, and I move and find him somewhere. We can play now. This now can be a social experience. And we did this in less than 24 minutes. We can also add scoring. This is pretty easy to do. We can also add like timing and direction, and we can make these people shoot. We also have to create a new image and so on and so forth. But right now, I have already surpassed the threshold that will keep me motivated from now on. I now have a prototype. I now have something that I can touch and something that I can invite some of you guys and say something like, okay, you have WSAD, try to hide from me, and I will tell you in 2 minutes who of them you are. And you'll tell me the same thing. This can be a game now. We can play it. Ta-da. Wait. When I did this a couple of times, I actually found that this approach of finding the minimal effort and maximizing the reward can be used in something else. First, what we did was build a playable prototype. Not a prototype, but a playable, something we can argue about, something we can punch each other in, about. We learned a new piece of technology. We learned a bit about Gosu. I also learned a bit about sprites and why don't they move the way they do, or why do they move the way they should not. And we had fun. We can have fun. Okay. And this all in a matter of a very short time frame. In a hackathon-like experience, you have the same, only amplified. Only if you focus on the right things. You see, we did not focus on choosing the background. I took the first background from subtle patterns. We did not focus on drawing the animations, because the animations did not push for a playable prototype. Okay? And we did not stop halfway, as we did, or as I did with that Elixir Phoenix thing, you know. And there's a deeper lesson to this. We can apply the same techniques to learning. For instance, Donna, you'll hear her in a moment. Together we wrote a thing that increases the motivation of people who learn Ruby on Rails, basically. Because people start not by writing specs, but by choosing a design for their app. And they say something like, basically in 2 hours they have an app with their text on it, and not a simple Twitter application. And when you have this, this reward that you give them, you can use this to fuel motivation. You can use that in learning, or in learning new technologies as well. Right? If you start an Elixir project with something absolutely concrete in mind, and with a well-defined concept, with well-defined set of tools, and with a very restricted scope, you can move much quicker. You can use these techniques to communicate various points, right? To minimize the amount of emojis you use in slides, or the amount of time you spend searching the right GIFs, and to maximize the amount of valuable information that you send, yeah, which can be an example. And you can also use these techniques to build stuff. As a matter of fact, the whole lean startup movement is exactly this. It's minimizing the effort and maximizing the reward. In the lean startup case, it's the learning you get from building something. So now we can try to think of the projects we do, not games. This is just an example that we could build quickly without knowing what we're doing. Anything else? We can now approach this from a different perspective. What is the least amount of effort we can do and achieve the highest amount of reward and fun out of it? Thank you. That's it. And there's a dance. You can dance. Yeah. Questions, anyone? Yeah.
And once again, how I can test
The game.
Yeah.
Like tests.
Does the framework supply some kind of testing approaches?
As a matter of fact, it doesn't. It's a the framework is actually just a set of Ruby APIs to some OpenGL primitives, and that's all it does. It draws stuff on the screen. However, it's a very neat question that actually.
You want something more than proof of concept you need to test?
Yes, but it is funny. Yes, but this is very good because look, in all of this, we have 3 or 4 instructions that reference external APIs. Apart from this, all of that you can test. Of course, it's a bit more difficult to test because we use a lot of instance variables, but hey, it's...
My question is about only, as usual, the framework supply some kind of testing approaches and functionality, but I can see it is not.
No, it doesn't. We can mock that thing, as we all do. Anything else? Yep.
Can you tell more about your experience with Phoenix and Elixir?
I was like, oh man, it is so cool, I should totally do that. And then I found out it's not actually Rails. And yeah. So, yeah, no, I've built something very, very cruddy. And then I found out that no, I'm not building anything significant right now because I do not have a project in mind. I do not have a problem that I would solve with Elixir and Phoenix. And the problems I have are much easier solvable by just using Rails. So I said, next time. I also, sorry, just as a thing, I also have this rule of using only one piece of technology. Using one new piece of technology at a time. So if I want to use Elixir, this was one of the failures with me for Phoenix plus Elixir, is that not knowing Elixir, I wanted to try Elixir plus Phoenix, which, doesn't really help. Yeah, sorry.
Is it possible to price this game and execute, for example, on the Windows? No?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, Gosu does have a packaging module, and it lets you package these kind of games into Windows executables and I think DMG files. You can just distribute them. But the whole distribution story is very bad with Ruby. Just yeah. I also did something like this for because of the distribution. Because distribution was a problem for us when we did the hackathon thing, and because distribution was one of the goals, we did this in JavaScript, and JavaScript has a lot of frameworks for this. Unfortunately, I can show you the JavaScript code, and yeah, it's nothing like this. It's not at all testable. It's like array.prototype.something is yeah.
May I take your laptop for a minute?
Of course.
You can.
It has a very bad. Just a second. Está donate. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You can just.
Okay.
Just Google. Does it provide three-dimensional capabilities?
No, not this one. It's also very badly, poorly supported these days, but for experiments, this is more than enough. What is this? Sombras? Temperatura? Sí. Saturación. And here is why we need Photoshop. Ты хочешь их сделать синими?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay, and now you want to launch the Okay.
No, I want a party.
Okay, party. So, just a second. So we can do this, right? Because it's blue, and we can have a blue party. Yeah.
No, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white. I just-
Yeah. We can do that later, I think. Между пивом и раками, давай. So, thank you all. See you soon.